What's up, you guys? It's Cody, and today I'm going to be talking to you about playing to a click track. Now, first of all, what is a click track? Well, basically, it's a metronome that helps keep you in time, and it kind of sounds like this. Yeah, super cool, isn't it? Now, this is something that many musicians use that a lot of you might not know about, whether it be massive artists like Billie Eilish or Maroon 5, or some smaller bands that you might have seen at some local shows. This is something that lots of artists do to help them keep in time and keep with the flow of the music. Now, why might this be something you want to consider? Well, first of all, it's going to help keep you in time. Something that even the best musicians struggle with is keeping perfectly in time. A more exciting, high energy part of the song might hit, and people tend to speed up. Or the verse might hit where it slows down and chills out a bit, and people will slow down. Now, this can add a lot of cool flavor to your show and to a live song, but it can also be harmful to you as a musician. For example, if you're a vocalist and singing through some fairly high parts, singing slower than the song normally is might make it more difficult to stay up there and keep a full breath. And likewise, if the song's being played too fast, it might be hard to sing through a section of the song with a lot of words in it. Another reason a band might need to play to a click track is because they have a lot of backing tracks behind them. Now, backing tracks are basically pre-recorded material that aren't being played by someone on stage. This could be extra guitar parts, percussion, or even sometimes some backing vocals. Now, all of these backing tracks need to be time-coded to the song, and if you're not playing to a click track, it's very easy for them to fall out of time. So any band that does have backing tracks will need to play to a click. Now, if you would like me to do a little more in-depth video on backing tracks, be sure to let me know in the comments below, and that's something I'll get to. Playing to a click can be a great way to improve your live show. It can help keep the entire band in time and really lock down the groove of the song. Now, if you haven't played to a click before, this is something that can be a little bit difficult, so I wouldn't recommend jumping into it without any practice. I personally play in a couple bands, one that does play with click and one that doesn't. And both suit the purpose very, very well. In the band that I do play with a click, we do have backing tracks and we have a programmed light show, and everything is very, very important that it falls in time. So we have to play to a click in order for all of those parts to sync up perfectly. Now, some people might say,
well, playing to a click isn't being authentic, or it's not being a real musician.
And I can understand that, but it is a tool that a lot of people use to help enhance their show. It's a great piece of music technology that I think a lot of people can utilize for their show. Now, the other band that I play with doesn't play to a click. This is a little bit more of your standard 4-piece rock band, and where we really thrive is by feeling out each show. Sometimes we might play a song a little bit faster because we're really into it and the crowd's really into it. And other times it might be a little more laid back. It really depends on how we're feeling that day. And that's really cool that we're able to adjust the tempo kind of on the fly and still be in sync with each other while doing it. So there is no right or wrong when it comes to using a click track. I do personally recommend that everybody practice to a click track. Not only do I think it makes you a better musician, but it will help you play your live shows a little more consistently every single night. So, how might you go about playing to a click if you've never done it before? Well, the easiest way, I think, is just by downloading an app on your phone. There's some really great apps for both Apple and Android, and any of them will do the trick. This one here is one of my favorites for iPhone. It's a free app, and not only can you set up each song with its own individual tempo, but you can set up playlists. So you can go song 1, song 2, song 3, and it's really effortless to do. Now, there are some limitations with the free version. If you have some crazy time signatures, which aren't the standard 4/4, you may run into some problems, but the pro version is only $1.39, so it's not too bad. Now, how do you go about setting up a click track? Obviously, this isn't something you want played through your stage monitors, or else everybody will be able to hear it. What most bands do is have the drummer play to the click track with headphones in, so that he's the only one that can hear it. Now, it is going to be super important as the drummer that he counts everybody in. The drummer might not necessarily start every song. It might be the guitar player or the vocalist. So you're gonna have to figure out how the drummer's gonna count you in for every song. That's why I say this isn't something you should just jump into without practicing for a while before you take it to a live show setting. Now, if you are a drummer playing with headphones in, you might be wondering, well, how am I gonna hear the rest of the band? And that's a very valid point. What I recommend is that you get a small 4-channel mixer. Now, these are super cheap. You can find them used online or even get a brand new one off of Amazon for under $100. I'll link to a couple of my favorites down below. Behringer makes 2 really, really great units that I recommend you pick up. One of them sells for $40 and the other one for $80, I believe. So be sure to check those out. Now, when you are at your practice space or at the live show, all you're gonna do is unplug that monitor wedge that you normally use and plug that XLR into your mixer. From there, you'll have a volume control of how loud that monitor mix is. And then what you'll need to do is get a splitter from your phone headphone jack so you can plug the click track into that mixer as well. From there, you'll have control of how loud the monitor mix is versus how loud the click track is to make it super easy to balance on the fly. This way you can hear both the click track and your band at the same time. Now I do warn you, be cautious before jumping into a live show playing to a click track. It can be easy to fall off time, and once you do, it's very hard to recover in a live setting. Make sure that if you are the drummer listening to the click track, that you do have a plan on how to turn it off quickly, whether that be a mute button or just pulling down the volume really quick in case you do fall out of time. And let me tell you, it happens to the best of us. Now, if you do want everybody to be listening to a click track, it is going to take a little bit more work. Typically, the way you're going to want to run this is have everybody on their own in-ear monitors, and these units can be quite expensive, so I probably wouldn't recommend that if you're just starting out with a click track. That's generally something that will come as time goes on. Anyways, I hope this covers the basics of playing to a click track. Whether you're playing with this live or not, this is something you should be practicing at home. Now, the first few times you play to a click track, it's gonna feel weird. Those parts where you're used to speeding up, you may find that you fall out of time, and that's completely normal. But I promise you, with some time and practice, it will get easier, and you will become a better musician as you go along. Now, regardless whether you decide to play with click live or not, I think this is something that everybody should be practicing to. When you do go into a recording studio, almost every single time you're gonna have to record to a click track, and it makes it so much easier if you've already done this while practicing. This also carries over to your live show. Sure, you may not be playing to that click track live at the moment, but so much of playing music is muscle memory, and if your body is used to playing at a certain tempo, it's gonna be easier for you to stay locked in, regardless whether you have that metronome going in your ears or not. Anyways, I hope this video has been helpful on how to set up a click track. If you do have any more questions, be sure to comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to help out the channel. Thanks, guys.